Good morning, my name is Camden and welcome back to my channel. Ever since I finished Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree a couple of months ago, I have really been in the mood to find another equally good, equally cozy fantasy novel. And I think I may have found it in this little gem called The House Witch by Delamach? However one would say that. This book looks super cute and cozy. It follows a male witch named Finn, who is the new palace chef for the royal family. I'm about 50 pages into this book so far, and there are a lot of descriptions of food. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I really love to cook, so I feel like the descriptions of food in this book, the coziness, it's going to be really up my alley and perfectly fitting for these late November days. Yeah, I'm really excited to read this book in this video and just have a lovely time. Hello, I am back with a reading update for The House Witch. Sometimes I really wish I didn't have to give like a 100% honest review, because I really want to give this one like completely glowing reviews, but I do have a few issues with it that I would like to mention. Overall, I think the plot of this book is exactly what I was anticipating going into it. It's very cozy, it's magical, it's got fantasy, but a low fantasy that doesn't take a lot of brain power to comprehend. I love learning about the type of magic that Finn practices. I love reading about cooking. I love the setting of this novel, in a kitchen, in a castle, interacting with all of the royals and the other staff members and all of that. Basically, I love everything about this book, but I just do feel like the writing in this book is not as well polished as I would like it to be. As I'm reading this book, I'm not noticing like glaringly obvious spelling errors or grammatical errors or anything like that. I think it's more like reading sentences that feel a little bit awkward, and I do feel like the overall like chapter layouts and the way that the plot is unfolding could have been more polished. I did try and do some research to figure out if this book was self-published or not, because it does kind of give me that feeling. It does have a great plot and an obviously incredibly talented writer, but it does feel like it lacks some of the, like I said, like the polish that an editor would bring to the table. So those are really my overall thoughts so far. I am about halfway through this book right now. I think I'm on page 160 out of like 400, so almost halfway. I'm really enjoying it. We're kind of following Finn as he's getting acclimated to working in the castle, as he's starting to figure out like what's going on. We're kind of dealing in the plot right now with learning that the kingdom that this book is set in may soon be going to war with a neighboring kingdom, so that's obviously causing a lot of tension for our various characters. And yeah, I'm really interested to see how this book continues to play out over the next 200 pages or so. So I'll check in with you a little later. It is Friday morning and I have the day off from work today. So let's go drink some tea and try and bust through some pages of my book because I really want to finish it this weekend. Hello, I am back with a final reading update for The House Witch by Delamock. This book has gone so far downhill since the last time that I spoke to you. The last time that I updated about this, I had fairly glowing reviews about this book, and my only real critique was that the writing needed some more polishing. However, after the 50% mark of this book, everything went downhill so quickly for me, to the point that I'm like 60 pages from the end of this book and I am DNFing it. I'm not finishing it. I can't like push myself through the last few pages of this book. Like I just can't do it anymore. So I am marking this one DNF, and I'm also like rating it like 1 or maybe 2 if I'm feeling generous stars. My primary issue with this book is just the severe lack of plot and planning that I feel like went into this book. For the first 50% of this book, the author seems to really be setting the stage that these two neighboring kingdoms are going to go to war, and that somehow Finn, our humble cook character who has powers beyond what he even understands, is going to save the day. But by the time I DNF'd this book, I really had no like conviction that we were ever gonna see this war like kick off or even get close to enough for Finn to have any marked effect on the outcome of these two kingdoms. I personally am a person who can survive off very little plot. I don't need like a very fully fleshed out, action-packed kind of plot to keep me engaged with a story, but I do at least need some like interesting interpersonal relationships or character growth in order to be invested in a story. And this book is really limited to just very surface level interactions. It feels like every chapter Finn is meeting a new person who he has like a minuscule interaction with, and that's the end of the chapter, and then we move on to a new person. There is one whole chapter in this book where he meets the gardener and they talk about lemon trees, and they talk about how the gardener has earth magic, and then the gardener has never come up in conversation or been featured in this book again. There is also a whole chapter that follows Finn's cat as the cat is interacting with other cats on the palace grounds, and then it's put to bed and we don't revisit from the cat's perspective again. It just feels so random, and like the author had a bunch of ideas that they wanted to string together in some way, but without really thinking through how the progression of events should go or having it affect our characters in any significant way at all in the story. It's almost just like a book of like funny anecdotes put together, and there's no real progression of plot or storyline or characters or anything. My other huge problem with this book is the sense of humor in it. It feels so incredibly childish to me. There's an entire like ongoing joke within this book about two characters being in a gay relationship with each other, and it's completely fabricated. It's just a rumor that Finn decides to spread in the castle in order to like get some attention off of him and his own love interest. But I was honestly kind of shocked about it because another queer character in this book ends up getting his ass beat because he is gay, and I was like, what? Like, how can we have such a traumatic event happen like that, and then like 2 seconds later we're like passing it off as a joke in like another situation? Like, I really don't know how to describe my feelings on that. I thought it was in poor taste and handled badly, and honestly none of the like humorous moments in this book are much better. It feels like very like childish playground humor to me, and I wasn't really entertained by that. Honestly, there's probably a lot more I could say about this book, but I'm just gonna leave it at those two factors. Poorly designed and executed plot, childish, damaging humor. I wish this book had been great. I wish it had been my new favorite cozy fantasy, but Legends and Lattes reign supreme, and hopefully we can find something that lives up to it somewhere in the near future, but it will not be this book. Anyway, that is really it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry that we didn't get like a 5-star read in this one. Quite the opposite, in fact. But if you have a minute to spare, I would really appreciate you liking this video, subscribing to my channel, sharing this video with a friend who loves books as much as we do, and comment down below what's the next cozy fantasy that I should try. I need your suggestions because obviously I can't pick a good one on my own. And I will see you all in a new video next week. Goodbye.